Oh, I would love that.
Shabbat Shalom. Let's see if I'm on. I don't think I'm on.
Test. I got on.
You're on.
This time I'm working.
There we go. Shabbat Shalom. If you are still in the social hall, start making your way to the sanctuary and come join us.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. Sing that with me. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. Sing with me.
Hine
מה
מה
טוב.
טוב
Clap, clap.
ומה
נעים
נעים
שאחים גם יחד. Come dance. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום, שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום, שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום, שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכם. How good it is.
What?
I don't hear you. How good it is. How sweet
It
it
was
is
yesterday.
to be together on this day. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I know a few people are still making their way over. Thank you for joining us. That song is about, Lisa, can I actually steal one of those too? Thank you. That song is all about how good it is for brothers and sisters and family to come together. We're going to be using this book, by the way, the Blue Mishkan Tefillah book. And let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing here today. So, does anybody know what this evening is for Jewish people? What is tonight called? Shabbat!
Yay!
And Shabbat is supposed to be a fun and joyful time. And now at our synagogue, every week we're going to be doing a different type of Shabbat, including once a month, something like this, where we give your parents a night off from cooking, and you can come and have dinner with us, and then come to Shabbat services. So let me tell you what my expectations are for all of you during Shabbat services. My expectation is that you have a good time. That means that we want you to sing along. We want you to be happy. If the music makes you want to get up and dance and move, we want you to do that because we're happy that you're here and we're happy that you're having a good time. And so again, welcome. We're going to be doing this Shabbat that's kind of geared more towards families, but everybody is welcome once a month. And so we are going to start now on page 142 with Shalom Aleichem.
So,
And, the cantor every month is going to teach us a different song so we can sing along with her. This month we're going to learn about Shalom Aleichem.
that's
Cantor, teach
right.
us.
Absolutely. So this is a song about angels watching over us. And in these words we say, Shalom Aleichem. Try that.
Shalom Aleichem.
Malachei HaSharet. Try that.
Malachei
HaSharet. Watch over us, you angels, looking over us from above. Malachei Elyon. Try that. Malachei Elyon.
Very good.
Next part. Mi melech malachei. Try that. Mi melech malachei. Malachei hamelachim. Malachei hamelachim. Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Try that. Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Now you have some rhythm shakers that my dressed in red tall hubby is giving out to you guys to use for the service. So we want you to shake them. Make a little noise. It's not as loud as a grogger, but it's good. We want to hear those wonderfuls and get that beat going. And even if you can't sing all the words, try the words to the refrain, which is the Shalom Aleichem refrain. You can find that refrain on 142. And if you don't read, that's okay. Sing Yai Lai 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 Lai, and that's good too. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Try that with me. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now we have the verse. The next part is the verse. It says, come on in. Boachem l'shalom, malachei ha'shalom, malachei elyon. I like your shakers. Mi melech malachei ha'melachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Cha-cha-cha, say Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet,
Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now we say, bless us, angels. Baruchuni l'shalom, malachei ha'shalom, malachei elyon. Try mi melech with me. Mi melech, malachei ha'melachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We sing again. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now we go out in peace. Tzedechem l'shalom, malachei ha'shalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, everyone. Mi melech, malachei ha'melachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Once more time. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch. Shake it out now. Tov me'od.
Wow, that was so much fun. I lost my mic. I was dancing too hard. Well, thank you, Cantor, for teaching us a new song about having a peaceful and amazing Shabbat. And so next month when you come back, you'll know that one a lot better. We're going to also turn now to another song. It's called L'Chadodi. We learned that coming to Shabbat, it's like coming to a wedding. That's why we're supposed to be joyful. Except, who's getting married? God and Shabbat. We learned that when God and Shabbat come together, it's a beautiful, beautiful creation, a beautiful relationship that we get to see. We're on page 138.
L'Chadodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'Chadodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'Chadodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'Chadodi likrat kala. Keep shaking it. P'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad. Hishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echa u'shemo echa. L'shem niferet v'lidila. Sing with me. L'Chadodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela.
L'Chadodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Miriam?
Likrat Shabbat lehu v'nelcha, ki mekor hamelacha, merosh mikדם nesucha, sof maaseh v'machshava tira.
L'Chadodi
L'Chadodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'Chadodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Hidoreri,
Verse 5.
ki va'oreh kumi'ori, uri, shir na'leri, kevornai alayit nigla. L'Chadodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela.
L'Chadodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Now what we're going to do is stand up and face the entrance to greet the Shabbat bride coming into the room.
Ba'i v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Ba'i chala, L'Chadodi L'Chadodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'Chadodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela.
You may be seated, but this time I would like to invite all the kids, any kids, to come up here. And if you need to bring a parent with you, that's fine too. And we're going to light our Shabbat candles. And I always talk about how kids are really the light in our community. They show us the future, even if they forget. So wait, hey, kids, come over here. All kids, come over here.
Yep.
Come over here, come over here, come over here. So we got to remember, I want us to remember, too, that we can have fun and we can dance and have a good time. But at the same time, we got to make sure that we remember that we're in a sanctuary and not on the playground, okay? And so, one of the things that we can do is we can light our Shabbat candles and bring light and happiness and joy into Shabbat. So I'm going to light the candles, and then we're going to cover our eyes. And the cantor is going to lead us in a special blessing. And we can sing along. Okay. Okay, let's cover our eyes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivan leharlik shel Shabbat.
Thank you. You can go back to your seats, and thank you for being here. We're so happy to see so many kids here this Shabbat. We are going to turn now to page 144 for the Hatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה
Amen.
וינמד יברח ירודה וינליק מלכותה וחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכו בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולם ימיה
יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי דקודשה
Rehu.
לעילן מן כברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ביעלמה ואימרו.
Amen. We're going to turn to page 146, and we're going to rise for our call to worship, the Baruch Hu. So the cantor is going to bow first and lead us, and then we're all going to respond to her. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed Le'olam Va'ed Yalalai lai lai 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 You may be seated. I've noticed this past week as we ended Sukkot, we started to pray for rain. All summer long, we'd been praying for dew on the ground, and now we're praying for rain, and guess what? It's supposed to rain a ton this weekend, which is good for Utah, and hopefully we'll get some rain in Israel too. And also, have you noticed that over the past week that the leaves have started to change colors? That's been really neat to see. So we're at this moment of change, and also I see right now that the sky is changing outside. It's going from daylight to nighttime. Let's read the reading on the bottom of page 149, thanking God for creating our evening. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over?
Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari Aravi.
150, we'll sing about how much God loves all of us.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amechata, Torah mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadita. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shokreinu u'bekumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nitzmach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negeh yomam v'layla. V'yahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Page 154. We turn to the Ve'ahavta about how we love God so very much.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihyot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet.
For such a long time, our people were slaves in Egypt. And when they were slaves in Egypt, Pharaoh and other people and taskmasters didn't make them feel good about themselves. They didn't wake up every day seeing that they were beautiful and perfect the way that they were because other people were mean to them. But in the moment that God freed us from Egypt and separated the sea, everyone in our people, they saw for the first time that there was nothing wrong with them, that there was nothing wrong with being Jewish. In fact, that being Jewish was something beautiful and amazing and special, and that God loved them. And so, when we sing the Mi Chamocha, I want you to know how incredibly unique you are, how incredibly special you are, and that God loves you for who you are, and that you need to celebrate that too. And how did our people celebrate that? They didn't just sing. They also danced. And so I told you at the beginning of this service, we want dancing. If you feel the need to dance, go ahead and dance. With this one, you're actually supposed to dance. So the cantor and I are going to dance. And if you want to dance with us and follow us around the room, please know we would be so very happy to make that happen. And you can shake your shakers while we do that too. Cantor, lead us.
And the women dancing with the timbrel followed Miriam as she sang her song.
Grown-ups can dance too. Everybody can dance.
One that we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long.
Come dance with us.
Miriam. Miriam was a weaver.
Miriam, it's your song.
The tapestry she wove was one that sang our history. With every strand and every thread she danced at her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances for the light. And the women join me, and the women dancing with their timbrel followed me as she sang her song. Woo, woo! Sing a song, the one that we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. When Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed me as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one that we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're gonna dance tonight. Sing with me. And the women dancing with their timbrel followed me as she sang her song. Sing a song, the one that we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha, nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osei fele, nora tehilot, osei fele. Malchut chara uva necha, בוקי הים לפני משה מרים זה אלי אנו ויאמרו זה אלי אנו ויאמרו אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד אדוני מלוך אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד. And the women, 1, 2, last time. And the women dancing with their timbrel followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song, the one that we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long.
Good job, Miriam. Wow, great job dancing. Thanks, everyone. And that was fun having a Miriam for Miriam's song. I like that. And so that was for you. And so we are now going to turn to a prayer where we ask God to help us go to bed at night in peace and to protect us from anything scary that we might be afraid of in the dark, and to help us wake up tomorrow morning in peace. And when we do this too, we think about how lucky we are to have homes and roofs over our head, but how not everyone in the world has that. And so for those people, we ask God to keep them safe tonight too. Page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamideinu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. O Adonai, keep us safe. Keep us safe from harmful things, O Adonai. O Adonai, keep us safe throughout the night. Keep us safe throughout the night till we wake. Till we wake with morning's light. Teach us wrong from right. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. Hashkivenu, everyone try it. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha.
Page 162.
You can dance around, have fun with this. A beautiful Vishamru with lots of rhythm. Vishameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי שבת, שבת ויהי. Shake the shakers, dance. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, לדורותם ברית עולם.
We are going to rise for the Amidah, page 164, and ask God to open up our lips so that we can say how great God is.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. La 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el hagadol, hagibor v'hanora, El Elyon, גומל חסדים הטובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך מימי ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
This time you can continue to read on page 172 through 180, or you can use this as an opportunity for your own prayers and reflections. And whenever you're finished, you may be seated.
Shalom bimrona, Yase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. La 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 Shalom bimrona, Yase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'ivru
Well, part of our service also every week is we think about people who maybe are sick or not feeling well or who are in the process of getting better. And maybe they have an actual thing that's hurt or they're sick. Or maybe they aren't feeling happy or they're going through something difficult. And so we pray at this time for those folks. And you can find our prayer for healing on page 371.
Mi shebeira avoteinu mekor habracha livateinu may the source of strength who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
This week we think of these members of our community and their loved ones who could use a prayer for healing. Gitaleah bat Mashahana, David ben Sarah Leah, Micha Yered ben Elchanan Yitzchak Belisa Elka, Arav Yehuda Le ben Dina, Miriam bat Hesed, Elena Abramowitz, Ed Bronsky, Marcia Bronsky, Michael Cohen, David Dowsett, Yitzhak Fagilski, Will Goldman, Saul Howergy, Cheyenne Light, Megan Magleby, Bria Mertens, Marco Antonio Moreno Campoy Sr., Shari Pedersen, Art Sandak, Penny Spector, Alexia Vieira, Richard Weinsoft, and Judy Wolf. If you have a name to share as well, when I look in your direction, you can stand up and share a name or raise your hand and share a name with us.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
This is part of the service where I give a teaching. And last night in this very room, I welcomed a group of very evangelical Christians from Latin America, which was really fun. We had some pretty intense conversations. And one of the things that was asked me at one point was, well, what do you all believe about original sin? Now, in case you don't know what that is, maybe you've heard the story of Adam and Eve and how they ate from the fruit from the tree. That's what we're reading about this week in the Torah. And what some people in the world believe is because they did this and got in trouble with God, that everybody, when they're born, isn't good yet. And I said, well, that's not what us Jews believe. We actually believe that when babies are born, that they're very good and they can't be bad. But also, something I started thinking about was it such a bad thing that Adam and Eve ate the fruit that they were not supposed to? Why was that fruit even there if they weren't supposed to eat it? And I thought about it and said, maybe when they ate from this fruit, what they became aware of was what they looked like in themselves. And maybe having that awareness can sometimes be difficult, but it can be a good thing. And it kind of reminded me of the first time I ever saw a picture of Adam. And in Judaism, we don't draw pictures of God, but some other groups do, and pictures of God. Because I always wondered what God looks like or what Adam and Eve looked like. And when I was a kid, I went to a museum, and lo and behold, I saw that God was a white guy with white hair and kind of looked like my grandpa. And that Adam was a guy who kind of looked like me. And I went, oh, that's what Adam looks like. Adam looks like me, and I bet when I get old, I'm going to look like God. However, this museum and these pictures were also made by people who also kind of look like me. And last month, I was in my favorite place in the entire world, which is Israel. And I was there with a group. And one of my friends in the group, I know, has a very, very special relationship to Ethiopia. And so as she and I were walking through the old city, I turned to her and said, Nicole, I want you to follow me. I'm going to show you something really special. So we snuck away from the group for a little bit, and we went inside a hidden Ethiopian church that I knew about. And I took her through the Ethiopian church. And there in the Ethiopian church were pictures of Adam and Eve and God. But guess what? They were all black. And the reason for this was that the Ethiopian people who made these pictures said, if we're all made in God's image and we're black, then I bet God is black too. It's probably the same reason why people who look like me made pictures of God and Adam and Eve and the other folks in the Torah look like us. And so I thought that was kind of beautiful, that everybody said, I bet God kind of looks like me because I'm made in God's image. But we can't. God can't look like all of us, after all. And so that made me wonder when I was a kid, what did Adam really look like? Did Adam look like me? And I dug into a bunch of Jewish teachings to find out, what did Adam look like? Did Adam have blonde hair and blue eyes like I do? Was Adam black like the Ethiopian church? What did Adam look like? And I found this incredible story, Jewish story. It's not in the Torah. It's called Midrash because it's a story that explains something in the Torah because other people had this question too. And what we learn from this story about this week's Torah portion is that when God made the first people, Adam and Eve, that God used every single color in the world to make them so that nobody on earth would think that they were better than anybody else because God made people who look like them first. Well, that also made me think about what we're going to read about next week in the Torah. One of the things we read about next week in the Torah is the Tower of Babel. What was the Tower of Babel? It was all these people around the world tried to build a tower that was so tall that they thought that they could reach God. Now, God didn't really think this was the best use of their time or abilities, and that maybe we should be worshiping God not by building giant towers, but instead by building relationships with each other. So God knocked down this tower. And then, in order to make sure that they couldn't build another tower like that, God made it so that they spoke 70 different languages. That they became all these different groups and spoke all these different languages. And so from these two stories, the story of Adam and Eve realizing themselves and what they look like, and this story as well, that when God made Adam and Eve, God used every single color in the world. And this story too about the Tower of Babel and all of us speaking different languages. Something that I came to realize was that being different is part of God's plan for our world. That when God thought about, had a vision for what the world should be, God didn't want any of us to look the same. God wanted there to be lots of different languages. And that nowhere in the Torah does God say these people or people who speak this language are better than anybody else. And so one of the messages that I take away from this very first Torah portion that we're in, it's called Bereshit, and it's the very beginning of the Torah, is that in this Torah portion, like I said before, it says that all of us are made in God's image and likeness. But that doesn't mean that God looks necessarily like one of us. Rather, there's a little bit of each of us that kind of looks like God. And that the way that we look and the way that we sound are beautiful, holy things that God gave to us. And so for us to be the very best Jews that we can be, to be the very best people we can be, is when we see somebody who looks different than us, or when we hear somebody who sounds different than us, to realize that those differences come from God. And that we have to make sure if we see anybody being treated badly for any reason because of how they look or how they sound, we have to stand up and say, that's not right. Because when we are the best Jews that we can be, what we're doing is we see that there's beauty and holiness and a little bit of God in every single person. Shabbat Shalom. I want to Shabbat Shalom. So thank you so much for coming out tonight. This was so much. I hope you're having fun. We wanted to, like I said, give you all an evening once a month for parents to take an evening. I'm going to do announcements. We want to give parents an evening off once a month from cooking dinner and cook dinner for you. And then have you come and experience a fun Shabbat. And really, I mean, this is for everyone, not just families with kids. Anybody can come to this Shabbat service. And I hope that through this, your kids are seeing that synagogue is fun, and being Jewish is fun, and it's important to your family too. So try once a month to come and have a good time and build community with each other. And I'm sure your kids will grow up with memories of Judaism being important too. I want to make a couple acknowledgments. I want to thank our amazing staff who's here, Lisa Kaufman, our office and membership director, Lana Stoddard, our communications director. I see William Calderon, our facilities director, and I know, and there's Tracy and Tamara, our religious school director, our assistant religious school director over here, who really this night couldn't have been possible without them. And also I know Danny Berman somewhere around, our executive director too. And I see some religious school teachers here, Cass and others. Thank you for all you do. And I also want to acknowledge our volunteers who help make this evening possible with dinner and everything else. Melanie Stein-Grayson, Jennifer Vigor-Calm, Benjamin Calm, Rachel Lemieux, Mary Ransko, Amy Nussbaum-Melman, Daniel Hausman, Cheyenne Brown, Lexa Hudson, and Cass Siebold. Thank you so much for coming and helping us. We're thrilled to have you here. Also want to acknowledge, I see from our Board of Trustees here, Melissa Jensen. Did you want to make announcements? You're welcome to. You want me to take it? Okay, I'll take it. So, thank you, Melissa, though, for your leadership in our community. So thank you for coming tonight. It's wonderful to see so many of you here, and please tell your friends you had a good time and bring them next time. I hope my vision for this is that in a few months' time, there's not going to be a single empty chair in this room. So I hope that you can show folks that Shabbat is fun. So tomorrow, and like I said, we'll be doing this Shabbat once a month. What we're trying to do is every Friday night do something a little bit different. Next week, it's going to be a lot of fun for the grown-ups if you want to come, because we're going to have at 6 o'clock Shabbatinis with some cocktails for grown-ups. Maybe we'll have some mocktails too. And then we're going to have a more traditional conservative Shabbat service that follows. So that's next Friday. Tomorrow, so kids, listen to this. This should be a lot of fun. Tomorrow evening on October 22nd, everyone is welcome to join the KG, that's our youth group, for Havdalah and the Fall Festival at the Cross E Ranch. Advance ticket sales through KG are now closed, but you can still buy tickets at crosseranch.com. And on Sunday, we have a full day of activities. Unfortunately, our Pups in the Park is being canceled because we're supposed to have a bad storm, and that doesn't sound too much fun. But we'll have other things going on. We're at 9 o'clock, we're going to take down our sukkah. Please bring your power screwdrivers and come help us with that. And at 9:30, we're going to have our first Sunday schmooze, where we'll get together to watch Alan Zweig's 2013 documentary, When Jews Were Funny, and have some nosh and schmooze with each other. I think Jews are still funny. And at 4:30, a new Sunday session begins. It's going to be on Zoom. It's led by our Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi Wenger, and Faye Lincoln, called The Evolution of Judaism in the Diaspora. So you can find info for that on our website. And then another big thing coming up, a couple big things coming up about how you can help make our world a better place. Mitzvah Day is next month on Sunday, November 13th from 9 to 12. That's where religious school is going to be that day, but everyone is welcome, and we're going to be doing a lot of great things to make our world a better place. So parents, please come too. We also need at least 32 blood donors in advance to sign up in order to have our blood drive here. I signed up already. Please do too, and ask your friends and family to donate blood. And Colamy also is now twice a month sponsoring the Frida Schweitzer Mobile Food Pantry to provide groceries and food to underprivileged families that we distribute at elementary schools at pickup time once on a Tuesday and once on a Wednesday each month. You can contact Ani Rokich or our office to volunteer. And also next Saturday, a week from tomorrow, I'll be having my first class on Halacha, Jewish law, following Shabbat services. I'll be looking at the question, should veal be considered kosher? And finally, we are in the midst of our High Holiday Appeal Fund. We're so grateful for all of your support for our synagogue. However, dues only cover about 60% of our synagogue budget. And in order to do the incredible work we're doing like tonight, we need all the help we can get. And we care as much about our present as we do our future. So we're hoping to get 100% membership participation in donating to our High Holiday Appeal. Anything that you can give to support us so we can continue to have a progressive, inclusive Jewish space here in the Salt Lake Valley would be much appreciated. You can make donations online, in the office, mail check, whatever. If you want to give us money, we will find a way to make it possible. So there you go. And you can check your emails in our website for more information. And we love to get RSVPs for events so we can make sure we feed all of you. So thank you for being here. Shabbat Shalom. And please do, again, come next month or even each week for this. We're going to now move into the concluding part of our service. We are going to turn to the Eleno on the bottom of page 586. And something I want to do every month of this service, let me ask, is there anybody here who has an October birthday or October anniversary? You have an October birthday. You have an October birthday. I'd like to invite any October birthdays or anniversaries to come up here for opening our ark. When was your birthday? October 9th. And how old are you? 10 years old. Wow, double digits. And October 18th, I won't ask. And I'll get in trouble. Oh, and you all are coming up. Anniversary. How many years have you been married?
14.
Uh-oh. Well, there will be a discussion on the car ride home. 18 together.
14.
I'm going to go with her. Uh-oh. 18 together. Oh, to be a fly on the wall in that car ride home. Just kidding. 14 together. There you go. And where were you married? Boston. What is your specific anniversary day? October 4th. Mazel tov. May you have many, many more years. Oh, okay. You were having your own anniversary in France. Well, I'm glad you're here celebrating with us this evening. Did you all have a birthday? Or
I don't have a birthday, but he does. On October
when's your birthday?
25th.
October 25th, next week.
Nice. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. It feels like tomorrow. I think Tuesday or something. Oh, tomorrow's the party. I got you. And how old are you turning? 5 years old. You are halfway to this guy over here. Man, 6.5. All right, we got half birthdays in the house too. Well, there we go. So, with that said, I'll invite you to rise. We are at the Eleno at the bottom of the page, and I'll invite all these birthday and anniversary folks to come and open our ark for us. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהת, ויגור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Awesome job. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
This next prayer in our service is a really important one because we think about people who are no longer still living, whose lives have ended, but whose memory still is with us every day and are important to us. So if you hear the name of somebody who is special to you, I'll invite you to stand when you hear their name. This week we observe these Yortzites, the anniversary of the passing of these individuals. Cecil Paul Bell, Isaac Bell, Grace Ruth Block, Marion Einhorn, Edward Ellman, Sally B. Friedman, Murray Gelband, Kyle Gibson, Joseph Ginsburg, Herman Goldenberg, Molly Goldstein, Ann Goodman, Ann Greenband, Jacob Hess, Herbert Hirschman, Frida Isrick, Herbert Kahn, Sanford Paul Kaufman, Linda Kaufman, Joseph George Kesner, Louis Leviton, Estelle Levy, Sadie Levy, Anne-Marie Mass, Nettie Marks, Pesia Gershevna Milyevskaya, Sheldon Monsi, Lydia Campoy Mendoza de Moreno, Sylvia Nedich, Jay Rosenfield, Joe S. Sampson, Joseph Shapiro, Sidney Spector, Ada Mae Granny Stein, Frida Schweitzer, Abe Tannenbaum, and Igor Zilberman. And if you have a name to add, I'll invite you to rise and share the name of your loved one at this time. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. We are on page 598. If you're in mourning or it is your tradition to do so, you're invited to rise. Yit Gadal, V'Yikadash, Shemei Rabbah,
Amen.
Be'alma Dibrach Yerutei, V'yimlich Malchutei, B'chayechon Uv'yomechon, Uv'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Uv'yisman Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam Omei Omaya, Yit Barach V'yishtabach V'yipa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar V'yitalei V'yitalal Shemei Kudishah B'richu, Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tush B'chata V'nehemata, Da'ami Ram Be'alma V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu Ve'el Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. O say Shalom B'imromav, Huya say Shalom, Aleinu Ve'el Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. A source of peace and peace to all who are mourning. Comfort everyone who's bereaved. Can we say Amen? By the way, I thanked all of our staff. I do see my friend Paul back there in the corner, also on our maintenance team. Thanks, Paul, for all your help. I think I heard you already did the blessings for before dinner, correct?
Just one of them, just Motzi.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we're good on the Kiddush and Motzi then.
All
And
right.
so we will just conclude
With something that's not on the paper.
something
Special.
not on the paper. Do we have any nosh afterwards or anything? Or no? Okay. Just wanted to check. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming this evening. I hope you've had a wonderful time and that you do come again either next week for the Shabbatinis and traditional Shabbat or come next month again for our family Shabbat. And as a reminder, first Friday of the month at 5:30, we always have a Tot Shabbat for kids kind of age 5 and under before our 6:30 service. But let's conclude with something fun.
This is a special song called This Is Very Good, and it's all about how God made the world.
Love that. Very
When
timely.
God made the world, you can shake a shaker. God made it full of light. The sun to shine by day, and the moon and stars by night. God made it full of life. Lilies, oaks, and tigers and bears, sparrows, hawks, and apes. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And God took clay from what was the earth's four corners and gave it the breath of life. And God said, this is very good. This is very good. Everyone on the earth are good. Try, this is very good. This is very good. One more time. This is very good. Everyone on the earth, all are good. All are good.
Yay. Shabbat Shalom. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. Shabbat
Shalom. And
Shalom.
please drop off your shakers. Thank you.